Welcome Home, a podcast for veterans about veterans by veterans, is a project of Willing Warriors and the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run.
Good morning. I'm your host, Larry Ziliaks, Director of Culinary Services here at the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run. This week, our guest is Jason Smith. He's prior service, Army, retired Army sergeant, and a double amputee, and an ambassador for a amazing organization in Maryland called Catch a Lift Fund. So, Jason, welcome to the podcast.
Sir, thank you for me.
So, I'm going to start by asking you a question I ask a lot of my guests, especially those that are prior service Army. Why did you join the Army if you could have joined the Air Force?
That's a very good question. Honestly, I went to join the Marines and the door was locked. So I went next door and the Army was unlocked. And I said, you know when they'll be back? And they said, no, but you can wait for them in here. And that's kind of how I became an Armyman. But what drove me to serve in the Army was that my mother and father both served. They were both Army. My uncle was Air Force. So it was instilled at me at a very young age to kind of protect what's yours, have a lot of love for your country, do your duty. So I knew that was going to be the path I was going to down, even at a super young age.
Wow. It's the old, you can wait in here for the Marine. That's so funny.
Yeah.
When did you enlist?
I enlisted in 2009.
Okay. And how long were you in?
I was in for 5 years as an infantryman.
Okay. And you were injured in Afghanistan?
Yes, sir.
And I'm assuming you were airlifted out of there to Germany and then to Walter Reed?
I was airlifted to Germany, and when I was stable enough to go stateside, I was sent to San Antonio. And the reason why I went to San Antonio over Walter Reed is because my very good friend in the military, his name was Jordan Cisco. We had the same birthday, we had the same initials, we were team leaders together. And he was injured the same day I was injured, and he was in a coma. And I told them it was very important that I go wherever he goes. I don't want him to be alone. And that's how I ended up in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm. And was this a roadside bomb?
It was. So I was walking, and we saw where the insurgent was putting bombs called a daisy chain, where you put multiples together, and if one goes off, the rest of them go off.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately for us, he injured himself doing it. So we were doing what we call a back damage assessment, where we look for DNA of who it was, trying to get clues, figure out where they came from, what they were doing, who their known aliases are. And I stepped on a 15-pound explosive.
Mm-hmm. And when it went off, who else was injured?
It was just myself who was injured. Now my Bravo team leader, I was the Alpha team leader. My Bravo team leader was pushed back against a wall, but he didn't have any injuries, a little bit of TBI afterwards, but I was the one that was, fortunately the only one that was injured.
Right. You go to San Antonio and you're medically discharged 100%, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And how did that transition go for you?
It was terrifying. Kind of a backstory on me as I was 6'2", 220. I was just this physical specimen. PT was easy for me. Following directions was easy. Retaining knowledge was easy. So in an instant, all of that is stripped from me. I go from being 6 foot to 4 feet tall. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I thought I was going to be a lifer in the military. I was going to sign up for indefinitely after my second enlistment, and just threw a wrench in my life. So the transition was something that I just never really anticipated. And every serviceman knows that, yes, it happened, but you don't really believe it'll happen to you. So that transition from being gung-ho Mr. Soldier to, okay, now I need help standing up. I need help learning how to walk. It was a little dark for a while, but I was able to find a light in the darkness in the form of fitness and just really focusing on micro wins as opposed to big goals, right? Like, oh yes, I want to bench press. I want to walk a mile. No, let's do 2 steps first. Okay, that was better than yesterday. Let's do 5 steps today. And that's what really got me through the hard time.
As we all know, when you suffer an injury like that, it is not isolated and it's not just that type of injury. You cannot suffer that injury without post-traumatic stress and TBI. And so how did your treatment for that go?
So in the beginning, my TBI, is more prevalent now than my PTSD, but In the beginning of PTSD, I remember being in the hospital, and if somebody had dropped something like a canister or something that made a just a sound like a gunfire, pop, 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 or if it just fell in a certain pattern of what would sound like a gun,
Mm.
it would send me to frenzy. I would try and sit up, I'd freak out. I was able to kind of settle down, but what really hit me now is the TBI, and I struggle with it daily. I have a notebook that I write everything in. If I say I'm going to do something, I have to write it down immediately or I won't do it. So, it's something I do with coping, and I try and say something over and over again to my wife. And she knows that I'm repeating myself, but the more I say it, the more I put it into fruition. And that's the way I remember things.
Mm-hmm. And you're an ambassador for Catch a Lift Fund. Now, were you involved with them? I know from your background you participated in the Warrior Games and the Invictus Games. Was that through Catch a Lift Fund, or is that something you did before you became involved with them?
So I retired in 2014. And the way I fell into Catch a Lift Fund is that in 2014, I tried to go to the gym, a commercial gym, and my PTSD was too high, my anxiety was too high, and I just felt that everybody was looking at the guy with no leg. That may not have been true, but
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, everybody was staring at me.
Sure.
So I went to the VA to find medication, and instead of finding medication, I found a 4x6 black and white flyer that completely changed the trajectory of my life. So I have been a part of Catch a Lift for 11 years now, and I came in the program as a veteran, and they helped me, and they allowed me to heal at my home by giving me home gym equipment. And I came on to their coaching staff in 2018, and that is when I started to hear about the Warrior Games and Invictus Games and really adaptive sports as a whole, and that really changed a lot for me.
So, Catch a Lift Fund is a nonprofit. Listeners, I want you to go to the webpage and check it out. It's catchaliftfund.org, O-R-G. As all our listeners know, you're going to find a red donate button up in the right-hand corner. Bang on it, give what you can. This is an awesome program, not only for just combat injured or veterans dealing with all sorts of issues. So there's also, the wellness program, but also too, there's a mental health aspect to it. Jason, there's a couple of programs that jumped out at me. One, of course, is the wellness program, which is based around your gym workout and that. So tell us a little bit about that program. How does it start for a veteran? Do they have to go to your gym? Is this something that they can see online through videos, or is there a program that they can adapt in their own gym? How does that work?
Yeah, so the way the wellness program works, sir, is that if you're a veteran, OIF, OEF, 30% rating in a combat area or 50% total, you just go and apply for our wellness group. And what the wellness group gives you is an 8-week one-on-one with a coach, and it's all virtual. So you
Mm.
can work out at your home, you can work out at your commercial gym. But what we do is we offer guidance and support. We offer personal training one-on-one. We find your goals, and then we help you reach those goals. And in turn, you just become a better version of yourself. And once you leave the wellness group, that is when you become part of our grant program. So upon completing the wellness group, you get a grant, and it can be a grant for home gym equipment, or it can be a grant for going to a commercial gym. It's whatever is best and conducive for you. And I personally went through the home gym route, and that changed so much for me. It gave me so much faith and belief in myself that I could continue to do these things and grow. And I thought I was capped. But no, there's so much. It's almost like you don't know until somebody's like, hey, you know what? There is a better way of life. You can do more than what you think you can do.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you do it.
And do veterans sign up through the webpage, right?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yep. So that's catchaliftfund.org. And the other program that caught my eye was your women's fitness initiative. And we all know that our fellow women veterans are an absolute underserved group of veterans. And I really like the idea that there's some attention to the fact that their needs in the gym or for health is different than male veterans. What tell us a little bit about that program?
Yes. So the women's fitness initiative, it allows them to heal in a sort of safe space, right? So male versus female, obviously there are different needs, and some females may not feel comfortable working with a male coach.
Mm.
We have a coaching staff of females as well that help them with nutrition, premenopause, postmenopause, all these things that they come through, whether it's stress induced from military, whether PTSD, TBI, all these things that hit differently per individual. And we find that there's great success within the program when they get this one-on-one help from another female who's been through the same thing, because they're more likely and susceptible to opening up more to them.
And do you find, what's your ratio of women veterans to male veterans in your programs?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know that answer.
Okay, that's fine. I know it's a off the wall question, but because I know that, in general, our women veterans, they certainly don't seek assistance from the VA. 60% of, or 60 to 65% of women veterans don't reach out or don't get services from the VA that they're entitled to. We also know that women veterans tend to disappear into the community. They don't wear the hats, they don't wear the jackets or the T-shirts, or they just are out there. And few people know that they've served in amazing capacities. And so I think this is an excellent program and a way for them to become get some individualized help in getting a fitness program going that will not only help them physically but also mentally. How long does a program go? I think you mentioned it, but
Yes, so the wellness group is 8 weeks, and
okay.
in those 8 weeks, it's not just the coaching. It's more so that we're also building habits, healthy habits, right? 3 times a week, you're working out. You're learning how to log your workouts. You're learning how to track your nutrition. So it hits on these multiple levels, and it just allows them to leave the wellness group with all these new hobbies and habits that are good, and it just allows them to continue to thrive.
So what when I think about the different programs, which one do you think is the most successful? I mean, when what is it that drives these veterans when they get involved with the program? What's the completion rate? Is it pretty high?
It is. The completion rate is extremely high. And I would say one of the biggest advantages to working with Catch and Lift is that every coach or every person that the veteran engages with is a veteran themselves,
Hmm.
right? Every coach is a veteran. Every nutritionist is a veteran. So they already have something in common with their coach. And it's much easier, as you and I know, to open up to a fellow veteran because you know where it may not have been the exact same things that you guys went through, but you went through something very similar.
Hmm.
And it's easier to talk to them than it is to talk to somebody that their bad day was a flat tire. So it provides them a safe space, and we go it through fitness, nutrition, emotional wellness, and community, and all those pillars allow the person just to thrive in the environment given to them.
Well, we do know that talking to veterans is really the key when you're able to communicate with people who have had like experiences, and I've seen that firsthand in events that we do here at the Warrior Retreat, where we will commingle uh, veterans. Let's call them modern day veterans with Vietnam and World War II veterans. And initially, our thought was, oh, I don't know, we'll give it a try. They probably don't have very much in common, but it turns out combat is pretty much the same for everybody. It's just different equipment depending on the point in time in history when you were involved in it, and they open up pretty quickly. And I think really a key there is having that veteran coach who's somebody who's, and I'm assuming all the coaches have been through the program itself.
Absolutely, yes.
And yeah, having that somebody who's been through it and can push you and help you reach your goals is awesome. Where does the funding come from?
So it all comes from donations.
Hmm.
We throw events, and we throw 5 to 6 events a year. and we do fundraisers there. We do golf outings, and it's the bulk is all donations.
And where are you guys located in Maryland?
We are in Timonium, Maryland.
All right, listeners, if you're in that area, let's just do this. If you're in the state of Maryland, you can drive to whatever event they're having. So not only do I want listeners to go to the webpage, but to look up on the webpage the events that they have, the events that support this organization, and allow them to be able to provide amazing services to your fellow veterans. Support these events if you can, really. Is Catch a Lift Fund a model that could be duplicated by other individuals or organizations in other parts of the country?
I'm not going to say that it couldn't be duplicated, but I'm going to say that there's a reason why we're the original. We found things that work very well, and we've really catered this to the veteran experience and allowed them to go into a place of healing and health and safety. And I feel like that is why it is so successful. And speaking of events, we do have one coming up in April, and that's Northern Virginia.
Oh.
And we have another one in Chicago. We have another one in New York. We have one in Connecticut. So we are nationwide. We are based in Maryland, but we work remotely. So anywhere you're at from any of those areas, you can absolutely attend.
Well, we're definitely putting a link to the webpage in the show notes. So listeners, you'll find it there, or you can just do the Google thing and get it. Where do you see the organization going, say in, 3 to 5 years?
Well, the answer I would like to say is the sky is the limit. I think we're growing every year, and we don't have, we don't do advertising. It's all word of mouth, and it's from veteran to veteran. If you tell me that something works and you're a veteran, I'm going to believe it over an advertisement that I see on television because I know you've been through it. I trust you. And that's what we bring.
And your coaches, they're volunteers themselves?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Well, listeners, again, the webpage is catchaliftfund.org, O-R-G. You'll see that donate button in the right-hand corner. Go ahead, click on that button, give what you can, 5, 10, 15, 20,000. They can use the money like every other nonprofit out there, but they are going to use it in a way that it's going to directly help your fellow veterans. The other thing is, if you are a veteran out there and you've tried to go to the gym, you've tried a fitness routine that your cousin says is the most amazing thing, and they're all jacked up and going to the gym every other day, and and it just doesn't work for you, give them a call. Go to the webpage, check it out, and it's not going to kill you. You may think it's going to kill you, but I think they're going to be able to help you no matter what your fitness level is. Well, listen, Jason, I can't thank you enough for coming on and talking about the organization and the amazing work you do. I really appreciate it.
It's an absolute honor to speak with you, sir. And thank you so much for giving us a platform to talk about Catch a Lift Fund and get the word out for so many veterans and other people.
Well, listeners, we'll have another episode next Monday morning at 0500. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can reach us at podcast@willingwarriors.org. You can find us on all the major platforms. Please like and subscribe. And we're on YouTube and Wreaths Across America Radio. So until then, thanks for listening.
The Welcome Home podcast is brought to you by Willing Warriors, a nonprofit organization serving active duty service members and veterans since 2012. To learn more, please visit our webpage at willingwarriors.org.